Good morning. We are really excited to show you a few things this morning that we're really proud of. But before we dive into that, I've got some updates on some exciting things happening around the company this month in September. The iTunes Festival began earlier this month. This is the 7th year in a row we've been running the festival, and this year is the best one yet. It's 30 unforgettable nights of live performances in London. We have the most incredible lineup with global superstars and stellar emerging artists. All of the concerts are held here in the historic Roundhouse in London. Also this month, we have a lot of excitement in retail. We've been expanding our footprint outside the United States, but this month, our attention turns home. A few miles from here in Stanford Shopping Center, we've had this small 1,100 square foot store. And despite the size of it, our teams have served 5 million customers there in just 9 years. They've recently been serving 2,000 per day in this space. Now, this store has long been overdue for an expansion, and this weekend we replaced it with this store. This store is a gorgeous pavilion design with glass on 3 sides and a cantilevered roof supported by the 3 sides of glass. It's an architectural marvel. It's also over 8 times the size of the other store that you just saw. Also this month, we've been hard at work on completing iOS 7. And next month, we will ship the 700 millionth iOS device. And since we make updates easy and make them available to as many customers as possible, iOS 7 will quickly become the world's most popular mobile operating system. And to tell you all about it, I'd like to invite Craig up.
Good morning. These are exciting times. It was just 3 months ago that at WWDC we first unveiled iOS 7, and we couldn't be more thrilled with the response. And now soon we're going to witness an event really almost unprecedented in our industry, when virtually overnight hundreds of millions of people download iOS 7 and begin a fantastic new experience with their devices. Let's take a look at what they have in store. Now, the voices aren't the only place where the sound in iOS 7 is improved. When you receive a call, you may hear something like this. Now, you may miss a call due to your dancing, but it's okay. We still have voicemail, so it's all good. And we've improved the system alert sounds as well. You have lots of options like this, or this, or my favorite. Kind of cool. In addition to these and many others, we have all the old classics as well, but remastered to sound better than ever before. As always, iOS 7 will be available unbelievably for free, starting on September 18th. It's available for iPhone 4 and later, the iPad 2 and later, the iPad mini, and the 5th generation iPod Touch. That's iOS 7.
Now, I'd like to switch gears and talk about some other software that we create. iWork was designed, and what you may not know is that iWork now consists of the best-selling mobile productivity apps on any platform. iWork has 3 amazing apps. The first is Keynote, and Pages, and Numbers. iWork highlights the fact that iOS devices aren't just great for consuming content. They're incredible for creating content. We also make some incredible creativity apps. Apps like iPhoto, iMovie. Now, we think that iWork is a really key advantage for our customers' productivity, and that iPhoto and iMovie are great for our customers' creativity. No other platform has any apps like these. We think that all iOS devices are made even better if they have these apps. So today, we're announcing that we're making all 5 of these industry-leading apps free. They're free with any new iOS device. We think that our customers are going to believe this is incredible. It'll be great for their productivity and creativity. So when you're setting up your new iOS device, iOS 7 will present you with this screen. And with one touch, boom, all 5 of these apps are downloaded for you, and some additional ones. We think our customers are going to love this. Now I'd like to talk about iPhone. A couple of you may have been expecting this. In the past, when we've announced a new iPhone, we've lowered the price of the current iPhone, making it even more accessible to more people. We're not going to do that. This year, we're going to replace the iPhone 5. And we're going to replace it with not 1, but 2 new designs. This allows us to serve even more customers.
The first one is called iPhone 5C. It's made with all the incredible technology that customers have loved with the iPhone 5, and there's more too. It has an incredible all-new design, one that's more fun, more colorful than any iPhone we've made yet. An incredible new color design. It delivers on color throughout the product. Every detail, the volume buttons, the switches. The entire back and sides are made from a single part, and the front is one glass multi-touch surface. As close as you look, you won't see seams or part lines or joins. It's absolutely gorgeous. And when you turn it on for the very first time and iOS 7 runs on the new iPhone 5C, you'll see how incredible they look together. The vibrant icons, the color-matched wallpaper, the way the translucency brings color to the surface, and it creates an entire experience of color. And the experience just doesn't stop with the phone design and the software. The team has created a really cool line of custom cases specifically for the iPhone 5C. They're made of a soft feel silicone rubber, they're microfiber lined, and they've designed areas like around the camera and flash where the color of the iPhone shines through. It's made of a hard-coated polycarbonate material that's ideal for this incredible color. But it's more. Inside, it's built with a new construction method that uses a steel-reinforced structure, provides incredible rigidity. It also serves a dual purpose as part of the antenna system, so it's really smart. It surrounds a beautiful 4-inch retina display with integrated touch layers so the colors feel like they're right sitting there on top of the glass. It has a gorgeous range of colors and is awesome for your photos and your videos. Inside, it's powered by an Apple-designed A6 chip that gives great performance and great battery life. In fact, the battery inside the iPhone 5C is slightly larger than the battery was in the iPhone 5 before it. It has the world's most popular camera, the 8-megapixel iSight camera, with its backside illuminated sensor, 5-element lens, hybrid IR filter. It takes great photos. And it uses that new camera app that Craig told you about that has all these great features, as well as these live inline photo filters while you're taking your photos and zoom while you're shooting your video. On the front side, it's got a brand new FaceTime HD camera that's even better in low light scenarios. It's got bigger pixels, better backside illumination. And it works with this new FaceTime audio feature. In iOS 7, you can make calls that are crystal clear using FaceTime. The iPhone 5C supports more network bands than any phone we've made yet. In fact, it supports more LTE bands than any other smartphone in the world. It has download speeds up to 100 megabit per second down, has dual band Wi-Fi, and Bluetooth 4.0. It starts with a large 16 gigabyte configuration at a price of just $99. As you can see, 32 gigabytes for $199 is on a typical US carrier 2-year contract. We work really hard to make sure these products are designed in the most environmentally friendly manner. They're arsenic-free display glass, mercury-free displays, BFR-free, PVC-free, yes, and Android-free. This is the iPhone 5C, the first of our 2 new phone lines today. The second is called iPhone 5S. The 5S is the most forward-thinking phone we've ever created. In fact, perhaps the most forward-thinking phone anyone has ever made. This is iPhone 5S. It is made of a high-grade aluminum with diamond-cut chamfered edges, perfectly matched glass inlays. The team has carefully considered every detail to make this the most beautiful phone ever made, and it is the gold standard in smartphones. It comes in 3 metal finishes: silver, gold, and a new space gray. And there are so many innovations inside it. I'm going to tell you about 3 major ones today. The first is performance. It starts with a brand new system on a chip from Apple called A7. A7 is 64-bit. This is the first ever in a phone of any kind. I don't think the other guys are even talking about it yet. Now, the PC world went through a transition from 32-bit to 64-bit, and it took years. Today, you're going to see that Apple is going to move the system forward, the mobile computing system, from 32 to 64-bit in 1 day. We're going to do it by great new hardware, amazing operating system advancements, and all new applications. So let's talk about the hardware. The A7 chip, this is remarkable. It is a 64-bit desktop class architecture. That means we can use a new modern instruction set, an ARM instruction set that's more efficient than the others use. It has a lot of great technology in it. The number that just stands out above all else, it has over 1 billion transistors in it. And this fits in a die that's about the same size as the previous generation A6. It's about twice as many transistors. It's remarkable. Now, you've heard a lot about iOS 7, but what we haven't told you yet is it's also been completely re-engineered for 64-bit at the same time. It has 64-bit kernel, libraries, and drivers. And all the apps that come with your iPhone 5S, they've been re-engineered to 64-bit as well. This will be an easy transition for developers as we've updated our tools with Xcode to support 64-bit, so they can make 32 and 64-bit apps easily. And this is seamless for customers because it's completely backwards compatible with all your existing 32-bit applications. It runs the 32 and 64-bit applications side by side transparently. You don't have to worry a thing about it. Why go through all this? Because the benefits are huge. The A7 is up to twice as fast as a previous generation system at CPU tasks. And it's up to twice as fast at graphics tasks as well. And the jump forward in performance by our team here is incredible. It's fun making this chart. CPU performance from the first iPhone to now the new iPhone 5S. It's increased 40 times. What's striking looking at this chart is half of that performance comes today with the iPhone 5S. And it's even more with graphics. It's increased 56 times since the original iPhone. Again, half of that coming today with the new iPhone 5S. It runs OpenGL ES version 3.0, the latest graphics standard. But that's not the end of the story in the architecture. There's more to it. We have a completely new part in the iPhone. We call it M7. It works alongside A7. It is a motion coprocessor. What does that do? Well, it takes advantage of all these great sensors and it continually measures the data coming from them without even having to wake up the A7 chip. It measures from the accelerometer, the gyroscope, and the compass. And with new software and applications, you're going to get a whole new level of health and fitness solutions never before possible on a mobile phone. The great team at Nike is creating a new application called Nike Plus Move. It uses the new M7 chip and Core Motion API as well as GPS. So A7, M7, a lot more performance, a lot more graphics, motion data. What about battery life? We're really happy to tell you the team has done a phenomenal job. They deliver battery life that's equal or greater than the iPhone 5 had. 10 hours 3G talk time, 8 hours 3G browsing, 10 hours LTE browsing, Wi-Fi browsing, video playback, 40 hours of music listening, up to 250 hours of standby. So that's the first of our breakthrough new technologies in the iPhone 5S. Second, the camera system. And we have some huge advancements in technology with iPhone 5S to do just that. First, it starts with the hardware. We have a new 5-element Apple-designed lens that has a larger f2.2 aperture. Lets more light onto the sensor. We have a new sensor as well that has a 15% larger active area. Our competitors would just pack more pixels on that, make them ever smaller and cram them closer together to get some stat on a spec sheet. That's not what we do. We know a secret. We know it's actually bigger pixels that make a better picture. And the pixels on this sensor are 1.5 microns in size, larger than the iPhone 5, and much larger than most competitive phones. They often have 1.0 or 1.1 micron size pixels. But with a bigger pixel, you let in more light, get a better dynamic range of color, and less noise in the image. The new software in iOS 7 has been designed to take advantage of this new sensor as well as the image capabilities of the A7 chip, which are remarkable. It has a new flash as well. We call it the True Tone Flash. Here's another great feature of this camera system, a fun new burst mode. When you go to take your picture, if you hold down on the shutter button, it'll burst a bunch of photos. It can actually take 10 frames a second for as long as you hold your finger on the shutter. So in 2 seconds, we just took 20 photos of that scene. Now, if every time you did this, you had to go into your camera roll and sort through all those photos, well, the fun would be lost. Using the A7 chip, in real time, as you took those photos, it analyzed them for a number of variables. It checks on exposure, sharpness, whether there are faces in the scene, whether they're smiling, whether they're blinking. And when you go into the camera roll, it presents what it thinks might be your favorite shot out of all the shots. You don't have to select them. You can go inside and select any of the other ones you want. They're all there, but it picks the best one. If it notices a shot like this one that was an action sequence, it'll pick a couple shots to represent the major motions in the action, so you have a few photos from that whole series. All done in real time automatically. One more great camera feature I want to tell you about, slow-mo. You select that one, and then you can create scenes with slow motion. What the iPhone 5S does in that situation, it's capturing HD video at 720p at 120 frames a second. Now, normal video is 30 frames a second, and you can go in and select right on the screen what part you want to be normal speed, what you want to be slow motion, and instantly create it, yet it looks completely natural and there's no loss of quality. Now, all of these great features and technologies are simply in service of taking a beautiful picture. So we have a few photos I'd like to walk through here and show you that are all taken right off an iPhone 5S, not edited, retouched in any way. And And even the great panorama shots we can take are even better with the iPhone 5S. This is 28 megapixel panorama taken with the 5S. And what makes it even better now is we can adjust the exposure level automatically as you're panning the scene. So that is the new iSight camera in the iPhone 5S. The third feature is all about security. The most common way, of course, is to set up simple 4-digit passcode or a more complex one if you want. This is something you do dozens of times a day to unlock and get access to your phone. Unfortunately, some people find that's too cumbersome and they don't set it up. That's why the team has worked so hard on a brand new technology to make this easy and fun to do. And it's called Touch ID. Touch ID uses a key you have with you everywhere you go, your finger. More specifically, your fingerprint, which is unique to each of us. It reads your fingerprint at an incredibly detailed level, and that's because of a brand new sensor called the Touch ID sensor. It's a touch capacitive sensor. It's super thin, 170 microns thin. It's just thicker than a human hair. Yet it's very high resolution, 500 pixels per inch. It scans through the outer layers of your epidermis right to the inner live layers to get a better image of your actual fingerprint. You can teach it about more than one finger if you want. Maybe use it right-handed and left-handed. And no matter what orientation you use to train it, you can turn your finger and don't have to worry about it because you can read it any orientation. But probably one of the most brilliant things the team did was where they put this new sensor, right into the home button that we use all day long. This is really smart. The home button still has a tactile switch just like before, so it works the way you're used to, but it also now includes the Touch ID sensor. Around it is the stainless steel detection ring. So the sensor knows when to read your fingerprint just by the fact that your finger's on the button. You don't even have to click it. On top of it's protected the sapphire lens. It's hard and it also provides a better image down on the Touch ID sensor. Now Touch ID has been built deeply into iOS 7. And the team has made it really fun and easy for you to teach your iPhone 5S about your fingerprint. And once you do, you can simply touch the home button to unlock your phone. And it's something that's a joy to do all day, every day, and leave on always. And since it's built in, the team's also figured out how to use it. Make iTunes purchases, which of course has a different passcode, but you can just use your same finger to authenticate music, applications, books, TV shows, and movies, all with just a touch of your finger. So that is Touch ID, the third of our forward-thinking technologies in the iPhone 5S. It has the new A7 chip with its 64-bit desktop-class architecture, the all-new iSight camera system with its True-Tone flash, and dozens of new features that make picture-taking better and easier than ever, and Touch ID, deep integration, security features based around your fingerprint. Throughout this, you've heard about iOS 7 in ways you haven't heard before. In addition to all the great user experience and great features, now you know that iOS 7 has also been created to fully support iPhone 5S with a 64-bit architecture, an integration of Touch ID at a deep level of the system, and all that camera capability with the image processing in the A7 chip. This is our most forward-thinking phone yet, is the iPhone 5S. It starts with a 16-gigabyte configuration at just $199, 32 gigabytes at $299, and a massive 64 gigabytes at $399, again on a standard 2-year contract. In addition to that, the team has made a set of cases that fit the character of this phone so well. They're leather cases, dyed in these 5 gorgeous colors, just $39 each, and there's also a beautiful product red one as well. It's really great. So now you've seen our 2 new phone lines. The 5C starts at just $99, 5S at $199. We're also going to keep a model of the iPhone 4S, an 8-gigabyte configuration in the line. Many carriers will be offering that for free with their 2-year contracts. So this is the first time we're launching and rolling out 2 new lines of iPhone. So how are we going to do that? Well, starting on Friday, September 13th, the iPhone 5C, pre-order it online. Then a week later, September 20th, you'll start to be able to purchase the iPhone 5C and the iPhone 5S in the United States, Australia, Canada, China, France, Germany, Japan, Singapore, and the United Kingdom. This is the first time we've been able to launch an iPhone at the start of the other countries in China, and we are so proud of the work that the team has done here in the US and in China to make that possible. It's really great. And in Japan, we're going to launch with our great friends at SoftBank and KDDI, and also for the first time with NTT Docomo. By the end of the year, we're going to work hard to bring it out into 100 countries and over 270 carrier partners around the world. So that's iPhone. Let me turn it back to Tim.
These iPhones are packed with remarkable technologies, but we've done that in a way that really matters to people, making things easier and better for our users. We don't just pack in feature after feature. Instead, we think deeply about what kind of experience we want to create and then create technologies that enable that experience. It's really an amazing set of products. Before we close this morning, I'd like to return to music. You've heard us say many times that music is deeply embedded in our DNA. And you've seen us talk about iTunes Festival. We do really love music, and we love celebrating with great artists. Please join me in welcoming our friend, Elvis Costello.
How y'all doing?
I'd like to thank everybody for coming, and don't forget the store in Palo Alto. See ya.